PowerPoint. All right. All right. Hello, everybody watching this. I'm going to start this by just explaining our program. Our program is a grant that is funded by Texas SILT, and it's designed to better serve people with disabilities that reside in Texas counties that are statistically underserved through virtual meetings and things like that. With our specific program, I provide information through video and stream formats, along with various social media posts and groups. So with the program introduction out of the way, let me explain the contents we'll be covering. We'll cover 4 different categories on assistive technology. These 4 categories include technology that help with home living, such as shower chairs, Hoyer lifts, and things like that. Adapting everyday items to improve self-reliance, equipment used outside of the home, and entertainment-based assistive technology. At the end, I will also discuss various ways that you can get financial help for some of these pieces of equipment. All right, so we'll start with home assistive technology. Transfer boards are the lowest tech forms of transfer. I do not like to use them, but they are available for use, and they may be a cheaper option if you're comfortable using a transfer board. I am not comfortable using one, but they are good tools if you're comfortable with it. The lift on the right side, I have one similar to that here at home, and we've used it a few times, and it's very useful. Like if somebody, most of the time we do transfers just through picking me up. However, sometimes the lift is necessary. The lift is about $700 or $800, I believe, but I'm pretty sure that your health insurance will pay for that, possibly. All right, moving on. Here are a few examples of shower chairs. I've been looking into shower chairs recently. At the moment, I'm using something more similar to the bench on the right side, but I'm just starting to think it may not be as safe. If you're capable of it, it is a cheap option, however. The shower chair on the left is very flexible. It can be used to go to the bathroom and also be used to get your showering done. So it's a very good mix of anything you may need in the bathroom. All right. I have a little more on in-home care thing. Okay, yes, there's this razor designed by Gillette that is specifically designed for a caretaker to shave their consumers if they're not able to. It's supposed to be a safer and more efficient way of getting it done. So I'll go ahead and play this video.
We don't have any volume, Justin.
Oh, I don't? Okay.
Not on our end.
I had some problems with this. Oh, you know what? I know what I did. Just 1 second. Okay. I knew I'd forget that.
Awesome. There you go.
There we go.
Joaquin is Anthony's service dog.
Oh.
Anthony loves him. He's more of like a social icebreaker, best friend. I always direct those questions to Anthony when we're out and about. You know, when they ask like how old he is, what's his name, it shows people that they don't need to be afraid of Anthony because he has Down syndrome. We have the chicken mansion outside. His favorite part, I think, is what he gets to eat. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, he likes his eggs. Thank you. There's everyday challenges, but at the end of the day, it all works. The three of us, me, Tony, and Charlie, we all are part of Anthony's day-to-day care. We try to let him be as independent as possible. When it comes to stuff like shaving, that's a little different. It's nice to have a tool that makes something easy. And the other thing too is like, it's an all-in-one. I don't have to worry about a separate razor and a can of cream. It's all right there. You know, I was a little nervous at first, then I tried it on Anthony and it was like, wow, this is really easy. I'm fortunate to have Anthony. He's a blessing. Unconditional love, that's Anthony.
What an awesome video. That's great. Really great.
It's really cool to see companies thinking about assistive technology, because in the end, I think it will make stuff more affordable if these bigger companies get involved in it. Hopefully more follow that. Okay. The final thing for in-home care that I have is more personal hygiene products. This website here it's got a mix of a lot of things that could help you. I don't personally use anything that would be on this webpage, but I do think there's some good stuff in there that some people could probably use. And if some of this stuff is too expensive, our next topic can there's other things you can do besides buying them from online. You can make equipment yourself in a lot of situations. All right. That is everything for in-home care and assistance to improve independence. Um, does anybody have anything to add or questions?
I just looked up that razor after watching that video. It is really inexpensive. It's like $7.49 at Target
Yes, it is.
for a pack of 4. That is amazing. I mean, that's even cheaper than most razors in general.
Awesome.
It's also included is the aftershave or shaving cream, so it may even bring the cost down more.
Yeah, that's incredible. I just wanted to look it up. I mean, there's several places you can get it. Target just happened to be the cheapest one that I found. But yeah, that's for 4 disposable razors and the shave gel to go with it for $7.49.
Pretty good deal. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to add? Or
Well, Justin, I have to plug the Center for Independent Living and include the fact that you can reach out to your Center for Independent Living. There are 27 in Texas. Justin is in the area of a center called Vail. Centers for Independent Living are places where you can go and get help with resources for just about anything. That's why the razor is such a good example, because it makes you think about maybe things that you didn't know have been adapted. And hopefully that's what the center can do for you too, is help you recognize many different things and many different ways in your life that you can be more independent. Justin's covering a lot of them today. But if there is something that you have a question about, certainly go to Justin and ask him. And if he can't help you, we will work as a team to figure out what might work for you or help you discover things, because the world of adaptive aids and medical equipment can be very daunting. So any assistance that we can provide, number one, through recommending resources or getting you to the right place, but also we have a program which provides equipment to people. Now there are some guidelines, and there's the possibility of a small expense based on your income, but we can help people find the right equipment, get the assessments that they need. Of course, this program is payer of last resort, so your primary insurance is going to be the lead, and then if for some reason they deny it or they'll only pay a portion of it, that's where our program can come in handy. But we can provide you with the folks who come out to your house and do an assessment, your whole house, and look at all the different things that would help you be independent. And they're the equipment experts. So there's always that opportunity. And if you need to figure out what center is in your area, we can certainly help with that. Or as Justin indicated, the Texas, Texas Silk, I've got several acronyms in my head. The Texas Statewide Independent Living Council is the council for Texas on independent living. And that's primarily who helps us as centers identify what people in Texas need and demand and what they're lacking. And that's how this program is funded. But if you go to their website, there's also a complete list of all the centers in Texas and how you can get in touch with them by phone or by email. Thank you, Justin.
of course, lots of good information. Thank you. So, yes, I forgot to mention that, but there are centers for independent living throughout Texas. There are some areas that don't have one very close, and you may be underserved in those areas, but they cover quite a bit of the state.
And just to make a point, if you call a center and they say that's not our area, or they tell you they can't help you, call our center in Abilene, because we'll get you to the right folks. We've got areas around Abilene that we don't cover, but we will help people. We will help people over the phone, and we'll do everything we can to get them what they need. And I think most centers would be the same. So if you look it up and you say, oh, there's not a center that serves my area, don't let that stop you. Call the center that's closest to you and get the information that you need, but we're here to help.
Moving on to our second topic to be covered, adapting everyday items. Sometimes equipment you need may not exist. It could be a discontinued product, or perhaps the price is just too high for what job the technology performs. So there are a few things that you can just adapt everyday items and materials to work for you. I've got a video here in a second that shows some of the things that I've discovered to be helpful. So I'll move to the next page. Here's the video I was just talking about. Go ahead and let that play. Well, maybe. So growing up with a disability, I've had to adapt like everyday items a few times, and I thought I'd just share some items to adapt, or some items to use for adaptations. So get into that. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is using a skewer to eat if you have like very limited arm movement and strength. I have enough arm movement and strength to use regular utensils, but I know there are a few people that can't. And if you use a bamboo skewer, it's very light and you can pick up what you want to eat, and while resting your arm even, you can eat with the skewer. Sometimes a plastic hanger can be used to pick stuff up if it's your only option. Like say you drop your grabber, you can pick it up with a hanger. So you can, I mean, these are laying around sometimes, so they're helpful. One more useful thing are pieces of PVC pipe. If you have someone that can use a reciprocating saw to cut the pipe how you need it, there's a ton of possibilities. PVC pipe comes in many different diameters and elbow shapes and anything like that, and they can be really useful. We've used PVC pipe as leg extensions, as you see in this picture right here, and it works pretty good. All right, that is the end of that. I've got a few more things to cover on everyday items, and then we can go into discussion. Another thing that I now consider an everyday item is a computer or a smartphone. It seems that everybody has some sort of smart device at this point. And some people may struggle using a keyboard and mouse. So there is a device called a head mouse, and there's also a company that has developed software where you can use the head mouse to type on your computer and do various different tasks just with those two things. Here's an example video of that. I'll go ahead and play that. All right, that's the main thing I wanted to show in this video. The rest of the video is him 3D modeling with just the equipment that he showed at the beginning. And I think that's really awesome. Everyone can be productive. It does not matter how limited you are. Anyone is capable of performing tasks, and it's good that there are devices that allow that. I have one more thing. This is a text-to-speech website. There are programs and equipment that exist that are designed for people that lack the ability to speak. But this is a good alternative if you're caught out without it and you have internet access and you're not able to speak. There is this website right here, ttsmp3.com, and well, I'll let the video play and we'll see.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you.
Okay, so I'm not sure how useful that really could be. However, it is an option in a pinch. What's really cool about it is it's many different languages, and the voices are you can change to any voice. They have a few options available. Whichever voice you find may be the best. That is all I have on.
Justin, is that free, that app there that you just showed?
Yes, it is. It is a website. So you do need internet access to use it, but I think it is free. I know that for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course. That is all I have for everyday items, adapting them. Does anybody have anything they would like to add or discuss?
I will add that when I've worked in group homes in the past and nursing facilities, for people who have issues with grip on things like forks and spoons, I know that they have adaptive eating utensils, but sometimes it takes a while to get those in, or it happens so fast. One thing that is a great idea to use is a pool noodle. You can cut those down and slide them straight over a fork or the end of a knife or a spoon, and that will allow somebody to be able to grip and still be able to feed themselves if they can't close their hand quite all the way.
Awesome. Good information. Um, I PVC pipe I think could be used for that also, but you would need a smaller piece. So the full noodle is a very good idea. I never thought of that.
And the good thing is that you can slide those off and still wash the entire fort.
Mm.
You don't have to
Right.
worry about, as much germs and things like that. And since they're water resistant because they're made for that, there's less likely of a slip on the hand. It's a little bit easier to grab because they are made already water resistant.
Right.
And I know it might be a little costly, but probably not as costly as it used to be. And for people your age, you may be totally aware of this, Justin, but now there's so many smart things where you can use your voice to turn things off and on. And I think that technology has really gone down in price. And I think you can use the Echo Dot and some of those other technologies to remotely handle many different things in your home as well.
Yes. Um,
And
I've
I just want,
used. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've used the smart lights. It completely slipped my mind. I never even thought about to
Oh, no,
mention
that's
that.
what we're here for, just
Right.
to talk and talk about different things.
But they are very nice. Like if you
Mhm.
are reading and you're in your bed or something, you can have light and then cut them off when you're ready to go to sleep or anything like that.
My son Ian also has Duchenne muscular dystrophy like Justin, and I'm always amazed at the things that he figures out how to do, not necessarily, like you said, with stuff that was made specifically for adaptation. So for a long time, he's used, and I noticed Emily Walensky, who also has a muscular dystrophy group on Facebook, that she also uses it, but it's a back scratcher, but it has a padded handle and it telescopes and it has a little hand on the end of it. And that's what Ian has used for years. I had a boss that what was part of the center, executive director in the beginning, and he was a person who had physical limitations, and he used a pencil eraser was his biggest thing, man. We always had to make sure he had pencils with good erasers, and that's how he used his keyboard. So a lot of it is about ingenuity sometimes. And Ian can use his phone to turn on and off his Xbox and his TV. I didn't know that for a long time.
Right.
Thank
Lots of
you,
good
Justin.
info, of course. So next we will be covering transportation, which is tech outside of the home, and we're going to discuss transportation first. Um, Transportation is a really key factor for people with disabilities in achieving more independent living. And there are public transport systems in many of the bigger cities in Texas, and I think some may be more well equipped to handle people with disabilities than others. The Austin has a mobility systems website, and it has very good information regarding the routes that their adapted vehicles take, and um, they even can work with you to mark your chair properly for the driver to strap it down more efficiently. And I just think that's a really good model that people could follow after. I've got a video here showing you how you can navigate TxDOT's website to get to your local area's transportation systems. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to look into transportation resources. First thing you want to do is go to text.gov, and once you get here, you can go to your district.
We need some volume, Justin.
Find, let's see. I don't know if this will help or not. Whichever district you're in, you can find the best resource available. So for my example, I'm going to use Austin, and we're going to go to Capital Metro's website. And Capital Metro has a lot of great stuff. They have this Metro Access, which most metro transportation systems in big cities have this. And they have lots of programs to help you even more and streamline the process. They even give you a map, if I can find it here. Here we go. These are the routes that all the ADA buses take within Austin, and other cities have similar websites and systems. You can find them once again by just going to TxDOT's website and going to your districts, and they will have a transportation resource on their district page. That is how I found this, and these are great websites, so hope this helps. Alright. Okay, now transportation systems in metro areas are very helpful. However, if you live in a less populated area, you may not be able to rely on that, similar to the area I live in.
Oh, you don't have any rural transportation services there, Justin?
I'm about 30 minutes from a city that does have transportation. I don't believe that there are any ways for transportation to get to me, which is why I had to work with the Texas Workforce Commission. I'll get to the next page to. All right, guys, get ready for that. So we had to, originally when I was younger, we bought a van very similar to the one in this picture right here. To me, I may be biased, but I think this setup right here is one of the better setups to use if you don't have public transportation available to you. And I do believe the Texas Workforce Commission can pay for equipment like this if it helps you get out to find work that will work with you. I would recommend a van with a side deploy for sure, because rear deploys can be kind of sketchy and dangerous if you're in a parking lot or anything like that. And I also, in the vans my family has used for me, we've had a quick lock system similar to this, and what it does is it puts a trailer hitch type thing underneath of your chair, and it's a single lock point, and no one has to help you lock into your vehicle. Those are really nice also. We bought our van from a place called United Access. There's a place in Austin that is a United Access dealer, and they sell lots of different brands and makes of adapted vehicles. Moving on, here's me I took it a step further, and I actually have adapted driving controls, which increases your independence a ton, like more than I can even explain. You're just able to do so much on your own uh, with the equipment available to put in a van to help you drive and access all of the features of a handicap van. It's awesome. My system has a steering wheel that is mounted horizontally, and it's got motors that turn the actual steering wheel for you, and it takes very little effort to do. And the throttle and brake is on the left side there. But there are a ton of other different adaptations that can be done. This stuff, the driving equipment is pricey, but again, if you get in contact with your Texas Workforce Commission vocational counselor, they may be able to help you get this equipment. So those are three transportation options available. There may be more out there, but this is as much as I know. So moving on, we're going to get into some. I think that's it, actually. Okay. That is the end of my topic on assistive equipment outside of the house. So I guess we'll have discussion now on the various ways you can get transportation.
So Justin, this is Leah again, and I failed to introduce myself. Justin and I work for the Center for Independent Living, Disability in Action in the Abilene area. One of the things that we've done in Abilene, because we knew our community needed it, is we were able to acquire some funding from various sources over the last few years to help people with disabilities who need choices. I mean, you've got your rural transportation here in Abilene. They only run twice a day. So if you've got to be somewhere before 10 o'clock in the morning, you're kind of out of luck. Or if you need to be out somewhere after 2 o'clock, if you have to work, is the main example. So what we do at the center is fill transportation gaps for people. For example, you're sick and you need to go to the doctor, and the doctor's office calls you and says, we've had a cancellation if you can get here in an hour. And so of course, CityLink paratransit requires that you give 24 hours notice. Or for at the last minute you have a need and you need a choice. Maybe CityLink paratransit works for you real well, but sometimes it doesn't. And so that's what our focus has been, and there are different centers in Texas who are doing that. On the rural transportation, as a Center for Independent Living executive director, I have to tell you that ADA law, Americans with Disabilities Act law, says that public transportation is to accommodate you, that they're supposed to make every effort to accommodate you. So you may have to be an advocate for yourself, or you may need someone from a Center for Independent Living or a family member to help you advocate for the transportation that you need. Now, I know we have one choice here in our particular counties, but then when you get outside of the 6 counties our center serves, there's multiple rural transportation providers: Double Mountain Coach, Spartan, and then the one that works for our area is called City and Rural Rides. So I think Justin's website is an awesome tool, because you're going to get an overview of Texas, and hopefully what some of these public transportation agencies are doing is creating a virtual hub, so that if you get on and well, I can take the city bus for this part of my trip. But once I get to this point, the city bus will no longer run. So what am I going to do to get from point B to point C and back again? And so hopefully, I haven't looked at them. Justin showed you one. There probably are multiples. But what we're doing in Abilene, because there won't be approval of an actual physical place where we get dropped off, a hub location, and then another form of transportation will pick you up. It's all virtual. And so soon, probably within the next 6 months, there's going to be a website where you can get on and see all the transportation providers for this area, what they do, how to get in touch with them, and you can find a mobility manager to help you organize your ride. So just know that the capability for you to get where you need to go is probably out there. Your Center for Independent Living can help you with that, or like Justin said, you can go online. And there is financial help. A lot of times it's expensive to ride paratransit. So that's another thing to think about, that you don't, it may not be that you have to pay full price for those tickets to get where you need to go. Thank you, Justin.
All right. Good information there. So the final thing I wanted to cover is assistive technology that you can use to entertain yourself and pursue hobbies and things like that. We're all human, and everyone needs an outlet every once in a while to uh, get their frustrations and things like that out, in a positive way. So the first thing I want to touch on are wheelchairs that are able to be taken off-roading, and also through even an airplane if you feel that you'd like to travel around the world. There are power chairs even that are compact enough to make traveling through airports and air travel in general easier. So some of this stuff can be expensive, but there are a lot of resources to help you pay for these things. So I'll move to the next page here and we'll have an example. This is a very expensive chair. It's basically a four-wheeler that uses the same controls as your electric wheelchair. They are on the higher end, but you can take these things anywhere. I've seen videos of people driving these through riverbeds, like with running water even, and you're secure in it as well. You've got a roll cage. This one here actually does have, I didn't notice this, but this one has regular four-wheeler controls. However, they do make a joystick that you can use, very similar to most electric wheelchairs. Their website also offers some resources for financial help with this. These include them working directly with you to get in touch with a nonprofit that can help you get this goal. They also have financing available, so you don't have to pay in one lump of cash. There are some cheaper options out there that are as much as half the price, and they do similar functions to this. So there's a lot of options available. This is just the one I found. And then there's also lightweight travel power chairs. I've been looking at these recently because I go out to our deer lease to deer hunt, and the problem we face a lot is transporting my chair up there to use because of the weight and the size. We actually have to pretty much load it on a trailer when we go up there because my van can't get up there. And this would make that much easier because it's lightweight and very compact. The only downside to this is secure seating. If you're not able to hold yourself up well, this can be really risky. But it is a cheap option if you're able to use it. And I think you could probably add a seatbelt to it and things like that if you absolutely had to, or a harness. So that's another option available. And it's much cheaper than the other one. But there's also financing available for chairs like this through a lot of wheelchair stores around Texas. Some more entertainment that a lot of people may not know of is adaptive art supplies. And like Leanne said earlier, you can even adapt regular supplies such as pencils and paintbrushes, probably with a pull noodle as well. I didn't think about that, but if you have problems gripping things, that could be very helpful. This website here, blick.com, is pretty good. They have an entire page dedicated to adaptive art supplies. This is something that even I struggle with, drawing and things like that. And I think it's really cool that there are companies out there willing to make stuff to help anybody with any activity. I'm starting to see that more and more, and it's really good to see. Next up is the adaptive controller, the Xbox adaptive controller. Gaming is a really good way to pass your time and entertain yourself. But for some people, it's just not possible in most cases. So Xbox has came around with this controller here, and it's really cool because you can attach many different switches to the back of it and use whatever configuration you need to best suit yourself. I'll go ahead and play this video now, and they'll give you more information.
At Xbox, we have a controller design that our fans love. However, for gamers with limited mobility or gamers who don't use both their hands, this controller design might not work best for them.
Pushed you out of the way, I'm sorry. Doorknobs are the worst thing ever invented. Putting on shoes, the cell phones that I use, these are the sorts of things that we don't think about until we have to. And I think about them every day.
Yeah! I have cerebral palsy on my entire right side. This side of the controller is fine. This side doesn't happen. As game platforms have gotten more sophisticated, the controllers have gotten more sophisticated, and it started to get really frustrating.
We designed the Xbox Adaptive Controller through feedback from the accessibility community.
The Xbox Adaptive Controller is really easy. You just plug it in, and then you can plug in various other devices. I can make it work for me the way it has to.
With the Xbox Adaptive Controller, a gamer can game with one hand and one foot, or one hand and their shoulder, or even one foot and their chin.
And I can change it from game to game.
Good, ready? Forward, squeeze tall, there it is.
Craig Hospital is a facility for patients who've either had a spinal cord injury or a traumatic brain injury, and it's a place for their rehab.
Yes. We're here for game night, and we're helping new patients getting back into gaming again. Is that the D-pad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our role as occupational therapists is to get people back to doing. When the Xbox Adaptive Controller came along, it acted like an Xbox controller, and it just worked.
Uh-oh. Over there.
Ooh. On the standard Xbox controller is just hard to press the buttons because can't really put pressure through my hands. But then with the adaptive controller, I can use like larger joysticks, larger buttons that are easier to press and reach.
Corey and his brother Zachary are twins. Before Corey's injury, Zachary had gamed with him regularly, and that was the way that they related to each other as siblings.
Who do you love playing Xbox with here at Craig Hospital?
Zach.
The Xbox Adaptive Controller and the co-pilot feature allowed them again to play games together. So there's a huge social component to it.
You got that? Yes, yes. They can play any game that they want. I see the confidence just burst out of them.
Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty helpful. They also didn't mention it in this video, but they worked with Logitech to create a package that includes all of your adaptive switches that you could use with that controller. And just a really cool device there. And there's also support for that if you want to get into gaming. There's financial support. I'll get into that later on. There's actually a nonprofit that helps people get into gaming with disabilities, and so I'll get to that actually right after this, after this video here. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's not it. I have one more thing. It's something that I'm into doing, and that is hunting and shooting. It's not for everybody, and if you are going to get into this, I do recommend that you have somebody that knows their way around firearms, no doubt, because it's a very dangerous device to work with if you're not fully capable. So this is what I've been looking into here on the left. This is made by Caldwell, which is a shooting rest company that does lots of things. This one is actually made for a tree stand, but the way that it mounts, you can outfit it to connect to your chair, and it's around $160. And this basically makes your firearm weightless, so it makes it easier for you to move if you have limited strength. And then if that is not enough, there's also a company called beadaptive.com, and they make all these devices you see here, various like trigger mechanisms if you're unable to lift your arms, and mounting systems that can be connected electronically to move with your hands without lifting up also. And it mounts onto your chair similar to this picture here. The triggers they have available range from bite triggers to blowing air through a tube, which I don't know, that sounds kind of dangerous to me, but it is doable. And there's also this here, which you're able to wirelessly move your finger like you're pulling a trigger. So that's all really cool stuff if you want to get into hunting, or if you were hunting before and you lost ability, similar to me. I haven't been able to hunt in many years, and it's really cool to be able to find equipment and share it with other people like these things here. So that is all I have for assistive technology. This last slide we will discuss various ways for financial support. Oh, one more thing. These are nonprofit organizations that can take you out on hunts. They'll pay for your travel, some of them, And I've actually talked with the people that run Disabled Outdoorsmen, and they're really good people. If you're near this area, I would highly recommend them. They'll get you what you need, and they're a great group of people. The other two are great as well. I've been following their Facebook pages, and they're willing to help anybody also. I have not spoken with them, however, but that's a really cool thing. These nonprofits, just, it's good to see that. Okay, now we will discuss financial assistance. So with entertainment-based things, a lot of times health insurance will just flat out deny you, even though I think it is good for your health to be entertained and to be able to pursue independence in different activities. However, that usually is not the case with health insurance. So you may have to rely on other sources. You're able to fundraise for yourself. This is a tough thing to do, but if you can get it to work, it can be helpful. And here's the foundation I was discussing earlier that can help you get into gaming, the Able Gamers Foundation. And then there's also this is more assistive technology that you can rent out. They also provide loans, like cash loans for you to pay for anything you feel like would help you become more independent. Their rental program has a lot of things that can help if you're dealing with blindness or deafness, and they also have some other things for mobility-based disabilities. That is a really good resource also. And then there is the Texas Workforce Commission, which they can help you get, like I had discussed earlier, transportation if they find that it helps you perform your job better, or if they find that it can help you get a job more effectively, they will help you more than likely. It is a process to get them to help you, but it is very much worth it. So that is all I have for this presentation. Time for more discussion now, or questions, and that will be it.
Justin, going back to your shooting, I don't know if you're aware, but the NRA also has an adaptive shooting program. It's not available in all areas, but you can go to the NRA and look it up, and it will give you a list of places that you can call to see if they have the program.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. The website, is that just NRA? What's the website?
It's nra.org.
Okay. That's awesome. That's good. Another good resource there. If anybody else has anything they'd like to share.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about flying for people that have disabilities and they require a chair. One of the problems that they've had in the past, which is the reason I was really pleased to see you bring up the lightweight chair, is these big power chairs, it seems invariably, they just beat the heck out of them when they put them, you know, in with the luggage. And I would, even if Ian could fly my son, I don't know that I would subject his chair to that, because they do some pretty good damage sometimes. So with that being said, the lightweight chairs are great. And also I've been monitoring this nonprofit organization who's working to get an accessible spot on a plane. And you can imagine with all the federal regulations of flying, and all the red tape. I mean, they just didn't give up. And I noticed not long ago that they've gotten that approved. In other words, you could roll in there, right? And they would secure your chair. You wouldn't have to get out of your chair. So that's big stuff that should have happened a long time ago, but it's just, you know, the red tape. So that's exciting news. I did want to share that. And of course, it's going to be over time when they develop the new planes, and who knows how many seats they'll have, but it's, you know, it's really a step in the right direction for people with disabilities to fly.
There's some good information there. I did not know of that either. That's awesome, because I feel like that definitely should have been done a long time ago. I used to fly out to the doctors that were specialists in my disability, and we had to stop flying just because it's too tough without accessible seating on the plane.
Yes.
So that's really good to hear.
Justin, hello. I'm Leah.
Hi.
Nice to see you guys. I have a question about that in terms of flying. So they don't have designated handicap spaces on a plane? That's not required by law?
Well, they had places, but you had to transfer. In other words, they had to pick you up, put you in their little bitty tiny wheelchair. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
I have.
And you have to have the ability to transfer. This will be just like an accessible vehicle where there's a place in the floor for them where you just roll in and they strap you down.
Okay, okay. So that's a matter of when they start developing the new planes based on, or modifying the planes based on COVID and distancing.
Well, I don't know if it's not based on, you know, I'm guessing at that because I don't know that they're going to go in and adapt old planes. You know how that works, new construction, and whenever something's new and somebody comes in and gives them the ADA, you know, all new buildings I've seen are ADA accessible for the most part. So I'm just guessing that they wouldn't go back to the old planes and convert them, but that they would do the new. And, you know, even now that it's approved, there, you know, that's, then the airlines have to be on board and adopt it. So it may be a long process, but gosh, what a great thing, because flying for people that have a physical disability is just a nightmare. So yeah, but hopeful. This makes things hopeful.
All right. I'm going to add one more thing to the end of this presentation. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've attached a survey link below, and if you feel that this presentation has been helpful, the link will be in the description to fill out a survey. And this survey is completely anonymous, and the information is used to keep this grant program going. And I think that's a really important thing, because there are some underserved areas within Texas that maybe don't have an independent living center, and this may be the only form of resource that they have. So just keep that in mind. And that is the end of this discussion. Thank you all.
Thanks for your time today, Justin. You did a great job.
Thank you, Justin.
Yes, ma'am.
That was informative.
All right. Bye.